Old man, it's nice having you.
Yeah, appreciate it. You look nice.
Yeah, thank you, man. Yeah, nice little suit. Oh man. Oh, Merry Christmas, of
Thank
course.
you, you too. Did you do anything fun or no?
Yeah. My family is not from here, so
Hmm. Wait,
uh,
where are you at right now?
right now I'm in the mountain of France, bro,
Okay.
in a town called Lozère, bro. It's far away from where I live. I was gonna spend it alone, and then I have an interesting story. Last summer, I was gonna get kicked out of my apartment because I was dirty. I was living with someone. So the last day of the exams, I go out with some friends, and then I said, "Oh shit, I'm gonna get kicked out tomorrow of my apartment." And one of my friends said, "Oh man, no, I have a place in my apartment. I will rent it to you. Well, because I'm not gonna be there. I'm gonna go to my parents' place." I was like, really? And then the next day I was at his apartment. So I stayed there all summer until I found my apartment, which was in the same building. Because the same guy that owns all the building, I had a problem or something with water. They cut my water. I was angry as fuck. And then I just called the guy and he hears my accent because I was speaking in French, and I said, "Yeah, this is where I come from." He goes, "No way, you come from there, blah blah." I went there. Blah, blah.
Where were you when this was happening?
This was what?
Where was this?
This was at his place. Like this is in summer when I was staying in my friend's apartment. So
Yeah,
I had a
where at?
problem. What?
Where at?
In Montpellier. So this is where I live.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So then they cut my water. Then my friend's like, I don't know what the fuck they called the water. Then I called the owner of the apartment, and he liked my accent or whatever. And then he gave me the apartment that's next close to him. Now we're like roommates.
That's
And
nuts.
we were in the same university, same class, same everything. And he invited me to spend Christmas over, and with his.
Oh, how was that?
Really cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, so I'm in Richmond, Virginia. I don't
Virginia?
know if you know what that is or where that's at, but um
Oh, I've heard of the state.
yeah, Virginia. So it's like the city of Virginia is like Richmond. I live right outside the city, and yeah, I'm at my parents' house right now for Christmas on a break from school. Um and my girlfriend came for a little bit until like the 21st, and we hung out, and then I have two sisters. One of my sisters was here, and then one was with her husband in Alabama. Um
Okay.
so yeah, for Christmas it was me, my two parents, my dog, and then my sister and her husband. And we didn't do much, just like breakfast in the morning, opened some presents, and then really just chilled out.
Yeah. Well, I really miss my parents and my dog. So that's
I bet.
yeah.
Yeah,
That sounds really good.
yeah, it was nice.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to do this interview because I have seen like your clips and all of this, and yeah. I also saw you were a basketball player.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I used to play basketball. I played until I played in college for 3 years, and then I stopped. So this would be my senior year of playing, so my fourth year, but I didn't play.
so,
And
but you're at college.
yep, yeah.
You study at
It's called Moravian University. It's in Pennsylvania.
okay. So you study.
Yeah,
Oh, you study in Pennsylvania, but you're from Virginia.
exactly. Yeah. So I went to Pennsylvania to play basketball. That's the reason I went up that far. Um,
Okay.
and then yeah, so I stopped playing to do an Ironman. Um, and
Damn.
so I just ran an Ironman 2 months ago about
But Ironman, it's running, cycling.
biking and swimming. Yeah, so it's a 2.4 mile swim in the ocean, and then a 112-mile bike, and then a marathon, which is 26.2-mile run.
Okay. Damn.
Yeah,
And
so that was an amazing experience.
how do you prepare for that?
I was 8 months of training. So I had no experience in like endurance at all. I had never really ran. I had biked a little bit and I swam when I was younger, but when I would get in the pool, I would just sink. I was not a good swimmer. So my buddy just randomly asked, I told him I was quitting basketball and he asked me, he's like, "You want to try and do an Ironman?" And I didn't really know what it was. And I was like, "Sure, like I'll do it." So we started training. It was 2 workouts a day, every single day, Monday through Thursday. And then Friday and Saturday were like long runs and long bikes. So it was pretty time consuming. It's probably like 20-hour weeks of training. Um,
Yeah.
but it was the best experience, not like the race day, but the 8 months that led up to it was just amazing. Like the grind and the uncertainty and the fear. Um,
How
I
do
highly
you
recommend anybody like just signing up for a race.
how
And
do you think your mind changed when you prepared for the Ironman? The
um,
first day before the 8 months versus the day of the race.
so wait, ask that one more time.
Like how do you think your mind changed?
Through the process,
Yeah.
yeah, I think just becoming more process oriented and falling in love with the journey. Something like Ironman, it's very slow progress, and sometimes you feel like you're making no progress. And I think today, like with all these different business models and all these like, say you want to start like interviewing and you want to start like finding cool people to interview, people want it to just happen like this. Like they just want to blow up right away. And it just doesn't happen like that. And I think through Ironman, I learned you just have to put your head down and work every day and find ways to like enjoy the grind, enjoy like the ugly of the process that a lot of people try and pass that part. But I've found just to love the grind of whatever I'm going to commit to. Um, yeah, I guess the journey is the destination. There is really no destination.
Okay. And you played basketball 3 years.
3 years in college, and then I played my entire life.
So you played it for why did you play it? For you wanted to go pro, you wanted
When I was younger, I definitely did. When I was younger, I definitely wanted to go pro. And then I realized that probably wasn't going to happen. And I kind of just got burnt out. But I played it because I loved it, really. I loved it. It was my life probably from fifth grade until last year. And it
yeah.
was fun. I think the team, just having a team to be with every day is amazing. The same thing, just learning to, like my sixth and seventh grade year in middle school, I didn't make the middle school team.
Hmm.
And so I got cut my sixth grade year and I worked really hard to make it my seventh grade year and then got cut again. And I had like a split second where I thought about quitting and then I didn't. And then I worked really hard again, made it my eighth grade year, and then started every single game. Um, so I think that adversity definitely instilled some grind into me. But
Yeah. I'm a big basketball fan. I played uh
okay.
all through high school, all through middle school. I think even before, but before I was, just going to the park, bowling with some neighbors. Nothing.
Yeah.
But when I had to come to France in 2022, I wanted to join the university team here, but with the difficulty of the school will not just it's not like the level of exigence here for university. I find it really it's just like completely academical. It's not nothing creative, nothing of blah blah. So you have to study hours. It's like studying medicine,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
for everything. So it's like what the fuck.
Yeah. No, it's a lot. Yeah. It's
So
definitely
I
a big
I
commitment.
got it, and it was awful, man. I have to be. I really really miss playing basketball. That's the one thing I think I miss the most.
Do you try to play it all anymore? Do you still play?
I go to the park
Yeah.
once a week or so, but I
Okay.
was in a team like you. I was bowling from 7 to 9 p.m. 3 times a week.
Yeah.
So I was going out with the team to the bus to different cities to play. That's what I miss. But
Yeah, it's hard to go from, I mean, people say athletes have two deaths. It's like their first one is when they stop playing their sport, and the second one obviously is when they die. But it's hard going from being with the team every day to not.
that's awful, man. That
It
hurts.
is, yeah. I've struggled a little bit with it, just and that's why I tried to get into triathlon, like train for Ironman, is like um try and surround myself with like-minded people.
Yeah, because you took it further away. You played in college,
Yeah, I played in college.
so that's even more than me. That I cannot imagine the pain of cutting basketball.
Yeah. No, it was definitely hard. I think also I got to a point in like college, it's a job.
Yeah,
Like it's not, it kind of takes the fun out of it if you're not doing well and if you can't have a good mindset. Like when you're on a team that's losing and you're practicing for like 4 hours a day and in the weight room for an hour a day, and you're like, what's the point of all this? Like I'm doing all this just to like play 10 minutes a game and lose. That's a terrible mindset, but selfishly as humans, it's easy to think that way. Um, and so yeah, I think I got to a point playing college where I kind of lost the love for it a little bit because it was just literally a job.
that's
Um,
horrible.
but now I miss it for sure. I do miss it.
Yeah, and I saw as well you're training with. I'm a Philly fan, man. So
Ah,
training with my dunk
Mac.
champion, bro.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
How do you know
He's the
Mac?
man. So my buddy Danny Cooper is a basketball trainer.
Yeah,
He does like skill development for kids all the way up to pros. Him and Mac had a pretty good relationship, so Mac stayed at my house for um he'd be like he'll come to my school every once in a while to train with Danny mainly, which is my buddy, and then I'll help do stuff in the weight room with Mac. But we really just trained him on the court, rebounded. My buddy um, is his skills trainer, and then I was into physical training for a little bit, so I was helping Mac out or trying to. I mean, he's an absolute animal. He's so athletic. He's such a hard worker. Um, but yeah, we just did some stuff in the weight room for a little bit. I don't claim to be his trainer at all, but
yeah, that's another thing that fascinates me about the NBA. Like Mac is a beast. In college
mhm.
he was, well, in high school he was,
Yeah, yeah,
killing what like destroying everyone.
yeah.
And now in the
I mean,
league,
I definitely have a biased opinion towards him, being he's a friend, but I think he should have a spot in the league. But I mean, it's tough being an undersized guard. Um, it's tough. It's hard.
well, right now he's in Orlando, right?
Say it again. Orlando, yeah,
Yeah.
Magic, yeah,
Well, Orlando is doing quite well. Yeah, it's so hard, man. It's just
yeah. I mean, because
being a pro athlete.
everybody,
It's so hard, man.
yeah, yeah. Guys in his position are like 6'5", 6'6",
Yeah,
scores. It's hard being a short guy and he scores.
but
So
he definitely needs more time. I think in Philly he needed more time. Like in
yeah,
Philly, given his
he won't give up. He's gonna keep going. You should check out. We have a podcast. Me and my buddy Danny did a podcast, and Mac was in it. I'll send it to you after this, but I mean, he's gonna keep going and keep going and keep going. I
no,
mean, talk about falling in love with a journey.
who knows? Because as well, like there's a lot of stories about pros that they're 3, 4 first years they don't do well. They don't have much playing time, and then they start
Yeah,
getting the opportunity.
yeah, yeah,
You know, they
yeah.
explode.
No, I definitely believe in him.
Yeah.
So
And what? So you're studying? What are you studying?
business management. but I don't necessarily know if I'm going to use it. I was really just in college for basketball. If I didn't play basketball, I probably wouldn't have gone to college.
So what is your plan to do then?
After college,
Yeah, only live in the next 5, 10 years.
yeah, I mean, that's hard to say because
Huh.
life can take so, I mean, you think you know what's going to happen and then life just switches up. But I'm getting into real estate currently. I'm currently doing wholesaling. I don't know if you're too familiar with that, but
Or like
real
buying a
estate.
lot of cant quantity and selling.
Say it again.
What is wholesaling?
Yeah, so it's a little confusing, but essentially I'd find like a beat down property somewhere where the owner of the home is motivated to sell it. I would put it under contract to buy it in cash. I don't have the cash though. Um, I would put it under contract for let's say $80,000 on a piece of paper, and then I'd sell that contract to a buyer for 90 or 100,000 and then make 10 or $20,000. It's a
Okay,
little confusing, but essentially I find homes for people to flip or for people to buy and to rent because I don't have the money to buy it, so I just find it and then I make like a finder's fee or a wholesale fee.
so you're in real estate now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's what you want to do?
I've always been a little bit I've always been pretty passionate about real estate. Growing up, just the type of work, more getting paid for performance than getting paid for your time in a day. So I could work really well one month and get paid a ton. Whereas if I'm getting paid hourly, I could work really hard. I'll still get paid the same as if I was slacking off. I think growing up, I'd worked hourly jobs and I would feel like I'd work 10 times as hard as people, but we'd get paid the same at the end of the month. And I hated that. So real estate's something that however well I do is how I get paid, opposed to getting paid a set number.
And the, do you regret uh not playing basketball anymore?
Not yet. I haven't yet, just because it was so soon. And my time's been so filled with training for Ironman. Like I'm training for another one now. Um, but who knows? Down the line, I may. But I'm really happy with the progress I've made in life, in all aspects of life since I stopped playing. So I'm pretty content with it right now. But everybody tells me I'm gonna regret it though, so we'll see.
So you feel satisfied at the moment with what you have accomplished yet?
Uh, that's hard. Um, I want to say that I do. I definitely don't. I never feel satisfied. I'm I think if I take time to reflect on my life, I'm definitely happy about it, but it's rare that I feel satisfied. I never feel like I have enough, which is a blessing and a curse.
I I feel some things like that, that for like the life I've lived, it's quite good. When you look back
Yeah,
at it, the things I've accomplished, they're not that bad.
yeah,
I can never say I'm satisfied about it. I always think, yeah, but I can be 10 times bigger.
yeah. And I think I'm currently working on finding a balance of that because I don't want to get caught in the rat race of never having enough money, never having enough possessions. Um, I want to have a balance between enjoying what I do have, but always striving for more. I think there needs to be this level of gratitude, which I'm not yet good enough at, but we need to have this level of gratitude. Like you said, like our life is pretty good. We do have it pretty good, but
Hmm.
still being able to work really hard
That
at the
is
same time.
so difficult. Like find it that level, like genuinely feeling satisfied. I think
Yeah, I think you don't necessarily have to feel satisfied because in my mind that makes me think that you're just done, right? Like you're like, oh, that's good. I think you don't necessarily need to feel satisfied, but you need to have this level of gratitude, like saying Daniel's life is pretty good. Like I am pretty blessed to have what I have, to live where I live, to have the family that I have, to be able to have food on my plate every night. But I'm still gonna wake up and get after it every single morning.
Yeah, like this level of gratefulness should always be there.
Yeah.
The satisfaction is not gonna be there, I think.
I don't think you need to. I don't. Maybe some people do, but
You think that level of satisfaction should not be there.
not necessarily, because then I think that would just mean you're done. And what's life if you're not working towards anything?
Okay. And what do you so what would you say that makes you the happiest is it's the grinding in the process, like preparing for the
Exactly.
government. That's what you
Exactly.
would say it makes you the happiest.
Say what makes me the happiest?
Yes.
It's the process. Um, Getting things is fun, having them is not. When I was grinding the whole 8 months to the Ironman, it was so fun. Like you wake up every morning, you have purpose. You know you're gonna work out twice, even if you don't want to. Like that's so much fun. It's so fulfilling. When I ran the Ironman and finished it, I was like, what now? Like the actual thing isn't as fun, even if it's like, say you want to work really hard to make a ton of money. I've had a few times where I've had like more money than I've ever made go into my bank account. That wasn't necessarily fun. Having the money in my bank account, you always just want more. You can never have enough. But grinding to figure out how to get it was so satisfying. So I think it's the process and the journey of whatever you're working towards is what brings fulfillment.
What code did you said? Getting things is fun, having them it's not.
Yeah, getting things is fun, having them is not.
Mhm.
Figuring out how to do it, the work, the grind, that's so fun.
There
You
is
can
a
have, and then you get the cool hoodie or the car or whatever, and then like 2 days you're like, all right, like doesn't change anything.
there is a quote by a philosopher that says that life is like a pendulum and it moves between pain and boredom.
Uh-huh.
So it's so let's say you want something. So you're in pain because you don't have it. So it's like, oh shit, I want this. I want to have it right now, or I want to have it in a week or whatever. And then you're full of pain because you don't have it. But then you
Yeah.
have it. And then you're bored because you have it.
Yeah.
Life is a pendulum that moves
I like that. That's so true.
pain and boredom.
Yeah.
And that's like when I heard it, I was like, oh no. And it's true. It's that's yeah. That
Yeah.
do you like quotes?
I do. I love them.
What are some of your favorite quotes?
Oh, um, hmm. I wonder if I can think of any on the spot. I
Uh,
love some of the guys. I love them from Chris Williamson. Have you heard of him?
uh,
He's great. I would watch his stuff. Alex Hermosi. You probably heard of him. He's pretty big.
yeah, yeah, I know him.
Andrew Huberman's great. Um, but the main guy I think that I get quotes from is Alex Hermosi, and one that I love from him, and I might butcher it. This might be a little bit off, but
Yeah.
he says, "Anytime I feel like quitting or I feel like giving up, I think to myself, this is when most people would stop, and this is why most people don't have what I want, or like this is why most people aren't great."
Mm.
So like understanding that when you're about to quit is when most people would quit. So if you don't right then and you keep going, you'll have different results than most people. And I love that personally.
I have like I love quotes, but there's like two or three. The first one, uh, so yeah, great. You know, pressure makes some men break and makes other men break records.
I like it.
That one I heard it, I was shit. You know, because yeah, as you said, when pressure starts coming in, and some people start, oh no, man, I want to give up. I don't want to do this
Yeah.
anymore. But then some people take it the whole other way, and they say, okay, pressure's coming. Now I'm gonna, do
Right.
twice as hard and
It's
break.
all like it's all if you look at the pressure or like the hard times as a negative, then you'll quit every time. But if you look at them as like, this is making me stronger, and this is when most people would stop, so I should keep going. Like you just got to switch the way you look at it.
Well, there's another one, but from a guy that said that reasonable men adapt themselves to the environment, and unreasonable men adapt the environment to themselves. So therefore, all progress depends on the unreasonable man. So if you're a
Explain.
reasonable man, so if you only take safe things and safe options and you don't do much, then you will not be a person who changes much in the world, or a person who accomplishes big things, because you will only be, okay, I need to adapt myself to this nutshell and stay here. But if you're unreasonable, the people that change the most in the world are really unreasonable people.
Yeah.
Are they're not people that you tell them, yeah, this is how it is, and they do it like that. No,
Yeah.
freaks. They think, and they think outside of the box too much, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's why I think
that's
it's
what I really like.
important. I set very unreasonable goals. And I used to tell people my goals when I'd first set them. And then I hated the way people responded to them because they'd be like, that's too, like, I'd be like, I want to do this in 1 month. And they'd be like, that's way too crazy. Like, don't set that goal. Or like, don't think that far ahead. Like, that's unrealistic. It's my least favorite word. They're like, that's unrealistic. And I just think that's such BS.
Wow. Well, those people will not, they will not change the environment.
Yeah.
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 And the other one, it's from Lincoln. This is the code that got me into codes. I heard it when I was really young, 13,
Okay.
12, something like that. And the best way to predict the future is to create it, which is really basic. It's a
I
really,
have heard that. Yeah.
but I didn't believe it, because you always say, I cannot predict the future. The future is uncertain, and I cannot think of what will the future have. But I think that code, if
Yeah.
you
I think,
really analyze it and the simplicity, that is true a bit.
yeah, there's definitely some things out of our control, but there's some things that we could definitely control. And like, therefore, you could create what you want your future to be.
Oh,
Like,
that,
we're all in control of exactly what our future, not exactly, because obviously some things are going to happen that we didn't think about, but for the most part, you're in control of like the trajectory of your life, which is so cool.
yeah. So when you think about your future and you're creating it, it's like you're predicting your future. I think that's really cool when you think about it.
Every day, every second of every day, what you do is creating who you're going to be.
Yeah, it's really cool. So some other quotes that come to mind, maybe some starting heating up.
Um, Not necessarily, I think like when a topic comes up, I'll think of a like to I was cold calling today for real estate, and I was getting a bunch of no's and a bunch of people telling me like go kick rocks or whatever, go get a life.
Yeah.
And I was telling my buddy about it. He's like, "Yeah, man, it's hard." And then I said the quote, "If it was easy, everybody would do it." And that's like most things. If getting all these things was easy, obviously everyone would do it, but it's not. And that's why everybody doesn't have the life that you want. But yeah, if it was easy, everybody would do it. Is a good one.
Yeah, good things take time.
Yeah, yeah, they do.
You cannot construct a building in 2 days.
Yeah, that's why you gotta. That's like what we were saying earlier. That's why you gotta fall in love with the process because like whatever you want to do, whatever your goals are, it's like whether it's this or something else, it's gonna take time.
What,
Like
what,
no,
what would you say are your biggest regrets? Like, how old are you right now? You're 20.
21.
You're 21. Okay. And at 21, oh shit.
Are you 21?
No, I'm 19 at the moment. I will
Oh,
turn
okay, okay.
20 in a month.
Okay, okay. Happy early
I'm really
birthday.
scared. Yeah, thank you. 23rd of January 2020.
That's sick.
And yeah, I'm quite scared a bit, but
You're
it,
scared of what?
I don't know. Like, time. Time is just going by so fast.
Yeah, it does. It does go by so fast. And that's like what's so crazy about time to me is it's going to go by whether you fill it with good things or whether you don't. Like whether you sit around and do nothing all day or if you get up and you work, the time's going to go by, which is crazy.
Yeah,
Because
but
because you could not do anything and by the time you're 25 be the same exact person. Or
that's a scary thing. That's right.
but that's why you use it as like fuel. Be like, okay, I know I'm going to be 25 before I know it. Who do I want to be when I'm 25 and what things would that person do?
Mm,
And that's the way I like to think a lot. Like I don't necessarily know exactly what I want my life to be when I'm 25, but I know certain things financially with my relationships, what I want that to look like, and then I think of that person and I think, what did that person do to get to that point? They didn't sit around all day on their phone. They probably got up early. They probably worked out. They probably worked like a dog. They were probably good to their girlfriend. They were probably nice to people. Like all these little things. And then do that every single day.
mm. Yeah, yeah, it's just another way of looking at it. Like, true. Like, just looking at it like okay, time goes by faster than what you think.
It
So
does.
use it as fuel. True.
Yeah, I think it's cool. Like you can find like little things matter. You can say, okay, right now I'm 19 years old.
Yeah.
Until I'm 25, I'm going to read 10 pages from a book and learn every single day, or you can choose not to. And right now, it won't seem like it's going to make that big of a difference, but the time's going to go by no matter what. And you can choose to take 30 minutes to learn every day and be so much better of a person by the time you're 25. You'll be a completely different person if you do it. Or you can choose not to.
Hmm.
And like that goes with everything. Like you can choose to wake up early tomorrow morning, make your bed, have a clean room, all the little things, read, eat healthy, work out, work hard, or you can choose not to. And time's going to go by no matter what. So I
Yeah.
think filling your time with valuable things is very important.
But what are your biggest regrets until today?
I don't know if I really don't
You have. Everyone has.
I don't know if I do honestly because I believe everything that I go through or everything that I do wrong, I wouldn't be who I am if I didn't. And I don't think there's necessarily like I never killed anybody. I never did anything terribly wrong. And I think without going through everything you've been through, you can't have the perspective you have right now, the gratitude that you have right now. You can't have you just I'm happy with the person I am, not satisfied, but I don't necessarily know if there's anything that I regret because I think through everything I did wrong, I learned.
So you would say you have no regrets.
It sounds cliche and cheesy, but I really don't think I do.
Okay. What are your biggest mistakes then? I do
I mean, a ton. Like,
the
I
biggest.
think I've tried to do too many business models at one time. I've tried to do drop shipping and real estate and grow social media like all at the same time. And something I'm learning is like you have to choose one thing and get really good at it. And so right now I'm choosing real estate and I'm gonna just get good at real estate and not try and do too many things. So that's something I wish I had done earlier. But if I had made the mistake, I never would have learned that. So
So your biggest mistake would probably be doing too much things at the same
yeah,
time.
too many things at one time. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So focus would be my advice to my younger self. Just focus on one thing.
Thing. Not in, okay. But what do you think if you can speak with you from your 40-year-old self, what would you tell him right now?
What would that 40-year-old self tell me, or what would I
What would
tell?
you tell him?
What would I tell my 40-year-old self? My 40-year-old self would tell me, thank you.
Oh,
I never thought about it the way you're asking, though. What would I tell my 40-year-old self? I would ask uh what's really worth working on, like what's really worth putting all my time into, and hopefully he could give me an answer there. What's really worth worrying about?
hmm. But you're asking him for advice.
Yeah, because he's been through it.
Yeah, but what advice would you give him?
I don't know if I would have any for him.
No advice for him?
I mean, just keep, I guess, not settling. Like, even if I have all the money or have a great, like, just keep finding something to work towards, because I think that's what gives me fulfillment, right? Like the journey, like we were talking about earlier. I would hope that I still work on things and not just settle and sit around all day.
So you would tell him to not settle.
Yeah.
Yeah. But another thing that I wanted to talk about here is
Yeah.
a famous clip of yours that you were saying that once you had one of the parents of one of your friends, you were eating dinner,
Uh-huh.
a billionaire.
Uh,
How is that experience? How was all of that?
um, I think it's kind of normal, like it's cool seeing that people making that much money are just regular people. It's easy to put people on pedestals when they're like really good at something, and they're just regular people just like us, but they just got pretty good at something. So that was really cool. And I love the advice too. Just a lot of times it's easy to get in like doom scrolling on TikTok, like looking for a cool video or like listen to all these different podcasts, like just hearing motivational stuff. But it's another to actually take action. And I think what he's saying is like that's where a lot of the learning comes actually by doing. Like I read a ton of books on real estate, but making my first 100 calls, I learned more than I did in all those books.
Hmm. Yeah, he
So
said
yeah,
the advice he gave you is to apply because
exactly. Too,
that's
like we listen to all these podcasts, but we don't do anything. Like we read all these books and then we just read another book. Like how about you? You can still read, you can still listen to podcasts, but like how about you listen and then do, like take action.
hmm. So
So
just
I love it. And that's why I've been really trying to just like I still will read, but more of my focus is on doing work.
okay. So
Yeah.
to apply more than just doing. I had the first person that I interviewed was a really cool guy. Was an Italian guy. He went to Harvard. Has some real. He opened some supermarket chain. And I remember that's why I loved interviewing. It amazed me too much how a person like that can be, as you said, so common or so
Yeah,
normal. It's just a normal
exactly.
human.
Yes. And that's, I think, such a terrible mindset is thinking that these people are so much better and different than you. Like I think there are some exceptions, and some people are just like freaks. Like you think about Elon Musk, the guy's insane. But I think a lot of guys like to not that crazy of a scale, people making millions of dollars, people starting businesses, people running successful businesses, they're not different than you. Like they're humans just like you are.
Yeah, the same something that as well makes me the same basic concepts apply. They do the same things. They
Yes.
wake up, they eat breakfast, they take a
Yeah.
shower or not.
They put their pants on the same way you do.
Yeah. and they the same thing is family is the number one thing that never changes. That as well was one of the things I took out the most of my first interview. And I asked him, what is the most important part of you, of your life? And he always, all of the people I interviewed, all of the successful people I've interviewed, they said family. All of them. No one ever said something that's not family. I imagine it's the same for you.
Yeah, no, yeah, it definitely is. I mean, that's the reason why I do everything, right? Like the reason I want to make money isn't just to say I made money, it's to one day be able to be there for my kids and my wife. And if I could help my parents out, I'd love to help my parents out. Um, yeah, family is a huge motivator.
Family is the number one thing, and it's not even close.
I think a lot of people can say that, but do a lot of people actually prioritize it? And it's hard when you work so much. You say family is number one, but does your calendar reflect that? Do you take time to like take your girl or your wife out to eat twice a night or twice a week? Or do you take time to actually be intentional and spend time with your kids? And I can't really speak on that because I don't have kids, but for me, my relationship with my girlfriend's very important. But a couple months ago, I was so tied into work that I wasn't showing that as much as I should have. Like I say my relationship's my number one thing, right? But like, do I actually show that? Like we say family's number one, but does our calendar reflect that? And
Yeah,
that's something I've been trying to be more intentional about.
like the person that when he is working, all he thinks is family, and then when he's at vacation with the family, all he thinks is work.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thing because how can you manage that? That's a big question. Of course you can say things of, oh, I will always do it for my family and all of this, but the actual manage of that is really complicated.
Yeah.
It's quite
Yeah. And I can't imagine like having a wife and kids and like that's gonna be interesting. So
and right at that moment is when you'll be at your highest level of work. So
yeah,
imagine.
most likely. I'm hoping I can work to the point where when I have kids, I'll be doing pretty well so I can prioritize that. Like that's to me a motivator. I want to be in my kid's life. I don't want to have to be working all day when my kid's a baby. I want to be able to be there in those moments. So,
Yeah, another thing, the guy I talked to you about that went to Harvard, he
yeah.
opened a supermarket chain. He was there for 10 years before he sold the chain. And I asked him the same question, what is your biggest regret? And his biggest regret was that in this supermarket chain, the weekends, the holidays, all of the seasons where people are supposed to be with their families, they're the busiest. So
Yeah.
it's when more people, when he has the most work. So when he should be with his family, he's at his top level of work. So for 10 years, he missed out on his daughters, on his wife,
Mm.
on his family. And I think about it quite a lot because time, man, time is
He can't go back.
yeah, you cannot have those 10 years back.
No.
Your daughter cannot be 10 years younger than.
Yeah, she's never gonna be 1 years old again.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. I thought of one regret
Okay,
and then we can wrap it up there. I
okay,
when I was running the Ironman
yeah.
at the end, like the finish line, I wish I took it in more. I wish I was more present and like looked around and saw people's faces and like really realized what was going on. I was so focused and just like sprinted across the finish line and I wish I was more present. But like I said, do I regret it? I guess. But now I know during my next race I won't do that again. So like I learned from it, but if I could go back, I would definitely do that different.
Okay, yeah. Well, Yeah, thank you a lot for doing this interview, man.
Thank you, dude.
thank you for.
What's your goal with this?
Well, honestly, I want to do this like after college, well, after university. I really want to do interview, like cool
That's
interview.
awesome.
But I need to finish university. For I do it for myself. I don't do it for, as you said, like I don't do it for work or shit. I'm in
Yeah,
the other side of the world in freaking France, spending 5 years. Like I think
yeah.
I'm gonna grow a lot, but I really want to continue doing this, and who knows? Who knows
That's
what it
awesome. Let me send something in the chat. Or I'll just text it to you. I'll text it to you. I
yeah,
got a
we'll
couple
text
guys I
later.
think you remind me of a little bit, and I think you could take some stuff from them by watching their interviews. I think they're really good.
Well, we'll text later, man.
Yeah, I'll text
But,
you.
but
But
thank you a
yeah, I
lot for doing
appreciate
the
you think
interview.
I appreciate you thinking of me and having me do this. And if you stick with it, man, there's nothing you can't do. So
Yeah, that's the number one goal for 2024, bro. Trying the interviews.
do it. Yeah, do
Yeah.
it. You got it, dude.
Who knows where I can go? Nobody knows.
Yeah. You never know unless you try. The only way you won't figure out is if you quit. So
Yes, Michael Jordan, another quote for Jordan. Limits like fears are often just an illusion. So there you go.
it's great.
Yeah.
Mike.
Well, thank you for doing the interview, man, and
Yeah, thank you, man. We'll stay in
thanks a lot.
touch.
Bye.
All
See you.
right, bye.